This week, city mayors and councillors prepare for the local government election.
457 visa holders plan their next move in the crusade against education fees.
In election results, Scott Ludlam loses his WA Senate seat.
Plus, a British cyclist close brush with death.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lowe and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. We'll begin with a special report. Prince Harry arrived in Perth this Sunday morning. He touched down at the Universal Aviation Terminal and was greeted by WA Premier Colin Barnett. The young prince, who was in Sydney on Saturday, has only stayed in Perth for less than 24 hours. On his tight secret visit, Prince Harry met with the SAS troops in the Campbell Barracks in Swanbourne.
Oh, look, I outlined a bit of the history and the economy of Western Australia and some of the social issues, but Prince Harry was charming and a very nice young man, and just chatted about his trip, and very pleased to be here.
City mayor and councillors are gearing up for local government elections this month. In this week's special report, we followed Coburn Mayor Leung Hallett and Fremantle Mayor Brad Pettit on their campaign trail.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning and Coburn Mayor Leung Hallett is on the streets doing door knocking and handing out flyers.
Yeah, we're getting excellent feedback from all over the community, and again, people see my wife Pat and I as people who are out in the community, engaging with the community, and we're seeing, as people say, we're seeing everywhere. They can't believe we can keep the rate up of being out in the community.
In this year's local council election, Mr Hallett has two rivals, including his Deputy Mayor Kevin Allen and local councillor Carol Reeve Fawkes. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Fremantle Mayor Dr Brad Pettit is also campaigning. Despite his rival Matthew Hayson not showing up in this week's local mayoral debate, Dr Pettit is taking no chances.
I think it's actually really important that we have a proper democratic debate around the issues, so that people understand what are the issues facing Fremantle. So I was disappointed my opponent didn't show up, but it was an opportunity for people to ask me questions, which is what they did for an hour and a half last night.
The local government election will be held on the 19th of October this year. Ballot papers will be sent to your mailbox 2 weeks before polling day. You can return your vote by mail or hand it over to your local council office on polling day during office hours. Martin Wilson, WAMN News.
457 visa holders are planning their next step after the rally against education fees gained momentum last week. Joseph Barker has this exclusive report.
457 visa holders in Perth gathered this week to discuss their next move against the government's plan to charge them education fees. The leader of the group, Dean Keating, told WAMN News that he will meet with the Premier this month to express their concerns.
Well, today's meeting is just kind of to formalise a committee and a working group to implement a number of actions forward in relation to the education fees for 457 visa holders.
The group is now urging other 457 visa holders to raise awareness by reaching out to the public and to meet with their local MPs. The discussion date for the bill has yet to be set. Joseph Barker, WAMN News.
WA Environment Minister Albert Jacobs celebrated 50 years of the Western Swamp Tortoise Protection Program. The minister also acknowledged the volunteers' conservation efforts during his visit to the Ellenbrook Nature Reserve. Shibs reports.
Western swamp tortoises were thought to be extinct, but they have since been rediscovered and have grown to number more than 300. During his visit to Ellenbrook Nature Reserves, Environment Minister Albert Jacobs thanked the landowners, sponsors and Dr Burbidge for his hard work since 1963.
I think it's an amazing fairy tale story for WA conservation. There's still a lot of work to do, but it's really good today to acknowledge that 50 years of hard work that these gentlemen and others have put into this project.
Dr Burbidge told WAM News how he started his conservation work 50 years ago when he was a student in UWA.
50 years ago I was a student at the University of Western Australia, and a project I was given along with some other people was to try and work out some of the biology and ecology of the Western Swamp tortoise.
There are currently 175 tortoises within the Ellenbrook Conservation Reserve and 184 in the Perth Zoo breeding program. Shibs WAMN News.
The Palmer United Party's candidate Jinya Wang won the WA Senate seat, while Green Senator Scott Ludlam missed out. The PUP will now have 3 seats in the Senate.
The Palmer United Party's candidate Jinya Wang won the WA Senate seat, while the Green Senator Scott Ludlam missed out. David Johnson, Belinda Reynolds and Michaela Cash will stand for the Liberals. On the other hand, Joe Bullock and Louise Pratt will stand for Labour. The Australian Electoral Commission has rejected Green Senator Scott Ludlam's request to recount the Senate votes. Australian Sports Party candidate Wayne Dropolich's recount request was also denied. The Liberal National Coalition have won 33 seats in the Senate, but they will need to negotiate with other minor parties in order to pass legislation. Raphael Lim, WAMN News.
To news in Asia, democratic activists in Hong Kong demanded China to free its political prisoners during China's National Day. Approximately 30 demonstrators rallied from Causeway Bay to the government headquarters in Central. They bound themselves with hemp ropes and casted paper cages on their heads. During their speech, the organizer urged the Chief Executive C.Y. Leung to request China to release the arrested dissidents. The protesters dispersed peacefully later in the afternoon.
To world news, US President Barack Obama cut his Asian tour short due to the government shutdown. The White House confirmed the president will only travel to Indonesia and Brunei, while Secretary of State John Kerry will visit Malaysia instead. More than 700,000 civil servants were placed on unpaid leave as both parties failed to reach an agreement on a budget plan. And a female cyclist in Britain narrowly escaped being struck by a high-speed train after she ignored the flashing signals at a railway crossing. The shocking CCTV footage released by the British Transport Police showed the cyclist jumping the barrier, but stopping just seconds before the train approached. The Transport Police want to speak with the woman involved. They are now appealing to the public for more information.
Goodness me, that was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, that's how the world looks tonight. We have more news on our website.
We'll see you again next week with another edition.
Good night.